Yo, what's going on, y'all? This is episode 2 of the Counterculture podcast. I want to welcome y'all in. Wipe your feet off at the door. Y'all already know we got the homies in the building. JAL, Boogie, Gary, we in the building. Y'all know what it is. And we just gonna talk. We gonna talk hip hop. We gonna talk moments of my life and my journey and all of that good stuff. Thank y'all for tuning in. And like I say, come on in, have a seat, kick it with us for a second. And Gary, let us know what's the topic today.
All right, we're talking about the album that never came out today. So
Yes.
we're talking about Vehicle City. So like y'all said, man, just go ahead, kick them shoes off, get them Mr. Rogers slippers on, because to work on something for 7 years and it never materialized, it's some feelings that's associated with this. So whatever you drink, pull up. And get ready for a story, because I don't think any of us have worked on something for 7 years and never seen it materialize. So yeah, that's wild.
Wow,
Yeah.
It was 7 years, bro.
Yeah, I signed at the end of 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. That's when I got fed up, and 19 I was gone. So yeah, that's when I actually signed the release is 2019.
Wow. Oh wow. Okay. So go ahead, G.
No, I was just gonna say, like, so let's start at 2013, right? What's the promise, I guess, when you come in? What's the first conversations that you have that you remember about Vehicle City?
Wow. So the backstory to that is, because I want to make sure I answer the questions as album specific as I can, because it's a lot of directions, you know what I'm saying, things could go. So
believe me, we're gonna let you talk too as well, because I know it's some side quests
it's
on
cool.
this 7-year journey. So
nah, it's cool. So you said, what were the first talks about the album Vehicle City?
Yeah, because I imagine like there had to be like some early expectations for you to deliver an album when you're on Aftermath, right? Which again, to remind everyone, Aftermath is Dr. Dre's label, imprint, whatever terminology you want to use. So I'm thinking in the beginning, they kind of outline like, this is the expectation, you're to deliver an album. I guess I just want to take everyone back to like early on, like what was the expectations for you to deliver this album?
So, okay. When I first got there, let me set the scene for y'all. In 2013, my album Unconscious State had charted on Billboard independently. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, which is kind of unheard of. And like a lot of people say that they independent, but they really got people pushing them. They really got money behind them or whatever. At the time that I got the attention of Interscope and Aftermath, like I was literally independent in my mama's basement. And like I say, to chart on Billboard from Flint in your mama basement is crazy. So at that particular point in time, Unconscious State. And I mean, I was on cloud 9 at the time, because I remember talking to Lyric the Queen around that time. And I remember telling her, I'm like, yo, I don't even want a record deal no more. I'm like, I just want to stay independent. I just want to stay doing what I'm doing, because in my mind, it was like, man, if I could do this independent. And honestly, Unconscious State, I made that album under a lot of stress. So I'm thinking like, man, if I could chart on Billboard off a project that I made being stressed out and not 100% focused, then I'm just going to stick to doing this, stack my bread, because for me, that's what it's always been about. Like, music is a means to an end. And because my mother always told me, pick a career that you love. So at the time, Jon Connor was not even tripping about having a record deal. You know what I mean? So when I get to the first, so I'm setting the scene for y'all. So now to answer that question, the expectations and the first conversations about Vehicle City. So I remember we was at Dre house in Malibu, me, him, and a cat named Fuzzy. Fuzzy was real close with Big Boy from Big Boy's neighborhood out in California, the DJ. So at the time, Fuzzy was working with Dre. So he was like Dre right hand at the time when I got there. So me, Fuzzy, and Dre was in Malibu, and I can remember Dre and Jimmy really liked a bunch of songs off of Unconscious State. right? They
Yeah. So Jimmy Iovine, the president of
Oh, yeah,
Interscope.
yeah. My fault. I'm sorry, Jimmy
Nope,
Iovine.
we got you. Yeah, because I
Yep.
know these is names for you that you got in relationships, but I just want to make sure for the people. So Jimmy Iovine, the president of Interscope Records.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
So Dre and Jimmy liked a bunch of songs off Unconscious State based off of what I had sent to them. So to the point where every time like Jimmy would come around, he'd be like, "Let's listen to John's music," and he would plug it in like and play it super loud, and or like
that?
How he sound again? How he sound again?
Listen, y'all gonna see, man. As the show goes on, y'all gonna see. I kind of, when I tell stories, I'm not poking fun at all. I just go back into it, and that person's voice just comes back into my head. So I'm not disrespecting or making fun, but that's what let's play John's music. Like that's what he sound like. You know what I'm saying?
I'm laughing because I've heard him on interviews, and I'm like, man, he sounds exactly like that.
Yeah. So he will plug in the joint, and then I would be geeked because honestly, man, I grew up, looking up to like everything that Jimmy Iovine accomplished and created with Interscope Records. So when I used to be manifesting like a deal, it was always Dre and Jimmy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the way that I looked at it. Like, I want to be under Dre and Jimmy, you know what I'm saying? Because I just admired their journey. So okay, like, yeah, they liked a lot of joints off of Unconscious State. So I can remember me, Fuzzy, and Dre being at his crib, and I remember Dre being like, we should just re-release Unconscious State. You should just put like 3 new songs on Unconscious State and re-release that. And he said, and then and this is just real, like I'm just being honest about the conversation. He was saying like, Interscope will push it and put some bread behind it, but we'll still present it to the people as if I'm independent. And they were saying like they kind of did something similar with Kendrick's Section 80. I think people think that like Section 80 was independent, but I think he had already signed to Interscope when Section 80 happened. They just put a little muscle behind it, you know what I'm saying, as far as marketing and promotion. And originally when I got to Aftermath, those were the beginning conversations. So before it even was talks of like Vehicle City, because think about it, I dropped Unconscious State in July of 2013, and Dre called me July, I think the same month. I think I had it literally like Unconscious State came out, and then Dre called me like 3 days later. So you know what I'm saying? So it was like he wasn't looking at it, or I don't think I even was at that time, was looking at it like, let's immediately start working on the album. His mentality at the time when I first got there was, let's just create 3 or 4 new songs, something that could be like radio friendly, re-release Unconscious State because it already charted, so it's already proven to have worked. And then let's go from there and let's see what kind of momentum we can start gaining, or what type of, you know what I'm saying, what type of heat we can generate, you know what I'm saying, by re-releasing what you already did. So that was the beginning. Now, how it became Unconscious State, how it became Vehicle City, was the first record I did that was produced by Dr. Dre was a joint called War of the Roses that was meant to be on, like I say, when we were going to re-release Unconscious State. So it's just me and Dre in the Interscope studio. I can't remember what they call it, but it was at Interscope studio. And I had wrote a record, and it was about kids growing up in broken homes. And it was called War of the Roses. It had Marsha Ambrosius on the hook. And it was produced by Dr. Dre, and it was a beautiful record. And I remember I wrote that first verse, and he like, yo, this Dre saying this. He like, man, forget re-releasing your old project. He like, nigga, that's the start of a whole album. And I was like, word? I was like, you think I should start working on my album? He was like, nigga, that's an album song. And then I'm like, okay. So at the time, I'm looking at it like Dre the coach, he the big homie. So if he say we need to start working on the album, then I was all right. Let's do it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that one never came out, right? Like War of the Roses.
Nah, it was supposed to be on Vehicle City. So that was the first song that created the energy to where Vehicle City was becoming an idea in Dre's head, like far as me having an album. And like that was the first time we started pivoting away from let's re-release Unconscious State to now you just need to make a whole new album.
Okay, so if Dre is telling you like, okay, I'm trying to put myself in Dre's position, right? Just to understand it. I listen to this song. I'm like, this is dope. You need to start working on an album, based on this song. I guess what happens after that? Because we know, again, we know you, right? The people that's watching this, they know Jon Connor. Like, Jon Connor makes music, right? If Jon Connor don't do anything, he go breathe, drink water, get some sleep, eat, makes music, right? So it's like, ain't like you go from War to Roses and then you just sit around twiddling your thumbs like,
correct.
LA looks nice today. Like,
correct.
So what happened? Because I know you still making music after War to Roses.
Absolutely. So then it becomes the process of now, which I guess is the Dre / Aftermath process of, because I remember having a conversation with DLC and he kind of told me like the mentality over there is like you need 12 undeniable records. That's your album. It's 12 undeniable. They can't be all right. They can't be straight. They have to be. So what happens after that is you start creating in order to find 11 more War of the Roses. You know what I'm saying? So now you just are creating every day, in the studio every day. I think I used to book my time from 3 in the afternoon to like 1 in the morning. And then it was just recording. Like, and so that you then start the quest to find 11 other records that are as good as War of the Roses.
So how many songs would you say that you have total for Vehicle City?
I mean, that I make in all, man, they gotta be in the thousands. Like if you saying like just ideas and random hooks and late nights that I done probably forgot about, beat switches on certain songs, and it has to be. If not in the thousand, I mean, yeah, because I was there for 7 years, so it got to be in the thousand. It has to be at least 1,000 and something.
Wow.
Yeah, that was like my question. Like, was Vehicle City completely done? Like, I know you've been writing. Was it completely done?
Yeah, done, mixed and mastered.
Mixed and mastered.
Yep, got mastered twice by the legendary Mike Bozzi. Shouts to Mike Bozzi. Shouts to my dog Mike Bozzi, man. He's legendary mix engineer, man. He mastered all of the Aftermath joints. I think he did Good Kid, Mad City, 50s, Get Rich or Die Trying. And we still keep in contact to this day. So like love to Mike Bozzi because he mixed it. I mean, he mastered it both times, man.
So why was it mastered 2 times, if you don't mind me asking?
I want to say it got mastered twice because I think we ended up taking something off and replacing a song with something else. So then we had to go and master it again with the new song that we did.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this is I don't want to sound too critical of Dre, but I don't think I'm saying anything that you can't Google, right? Dre has been known to do this, right? Like Dre has been known to work with artists. So the most infamous example, that I'll give, or maybe not infamous, but a lot of the hip hop community know about this, is when Rakim went over to Aftermath, and everyone was looking forward to like a Rakim lyrics over Dr. Dre's beats. And then it never materialized. Like, did you ever have any of those fears that this could possibly happen to me?
You want to know what's crazy, bro? It's an interview out there where Peter Rosenberg from Hot 97 directly asked me that question when I was on Hot 97 after the XXL freshman cover. And I cringe when I watch. I don't ever watch back my interviews. And none of that stuff just because I don't know. I'm weird about stuff like that. but like I remember I did watch it back one time, and oh my God, that shit was cringeworthy because it was like he asked me directly exactly what you said in 2014, and my response was, "Man, I can't speak for nobody else. I'm just happy for the opportunity, man. I'm gonna do what I do. I can't speak for nobody else's situation, but I'm just gonna be the best artist I can be," and blah 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 blah. And you know what I'm saying? It was just such a wide-eyed, optimistic answer. You know what I'm saying? So did I ever think about it? Only when the question was posed to me. But after somebody asked me it, no, because the thing about it, just to put people in my perspective, it wasn't like Dr. Dre was like this dude that lived on like another planet. I saw dude every day. So it's not like, you know what I'm saying, time is going by or I'm seeing dude every day. So for me, it's like I could just ask them if I feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like and that's the type of person I am because I am an Aries. So it's like with me, I'm not really shy about being direct. One of the worst things that Aries can feel is confused. I don't like feeling confused. So it's like anytime I had a question for Dre, I would just ask. So when somebody say like, did I ever think about the project not coming out, or did I think about people in the past? I think in my brain it would be like, well, maybe they didn't have this type of relationship with Dre that I have, or maybe they wasn't around him like this, or maybe I don't know what their personality was like, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. But from my perspective, it was like me and dog was chilling every day, kicking it on the phone every day, like, you know what I'm saying, in the studio, you know what I'm saying, kicking it, like, you know what I'm saying. So it wasn't like a situation, and I really appreciate that question because I get to dispel like maybe what people might think, because I think sometimes people think, oh, well, cats like Puffy and Jay-Z and all these type of cats are just these untouchable people that you never see or whatever. But nah, I saw him just every day. So for me, I didn't think at the time that I had reason for concern because of the relationship I felt that me and him had.
So you not thinking about him as Dr. Dre. You think
right? Nah,
this like this big bruh, whatever.
Yeah, my nigga. It was like this, my nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's really like for real. And because bro, we from the crib. Like it's just different type of. It's just different out in LA. Just people and relationships and you know all of that type of stuff. But yes, I didn't look at him like Dre, the boss of my album. It got to a point where it was like, that's my nigga. Why wouldn't my nigga put my album? That's my dog. I just seen him yesterday. Like, why wouldn't he? I just was at the crib for Thanksgiving. Why the fuck wouldn't he put it out? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I'm thinking because I'm seeing him on such a regular basis that for me, that thought was never crossing my mind.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, I think in general, even like when you go to like folks that go to work every day, you know, you get cool with your boss. And you're like, oh, okay, that's my dude. Yeah. But you know, this dude, this is your dude, but he over a $1 billion company. So
exactly.
at the same time, your dude, even, you know, sometimes they make decisions that are contradictory to what we think going on when we have a friendship with somebody. So I mean, I completely get it.
Yeah. So yep, that was the relationship at the time. So nope, I never thought about it. Like I say, when people asked me that question back then in 2014, 15, 16, my answer was very optimistic because it was like I see him every day. So why would that be the case?
So when did you start to feel like maybe, you know, this ain't progressing as quickly or smoothly as I might have liked?
I'm gonna keep it very real with you. I was thinking about leaving Aftermath in 2015. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like right before, like around the time Compton was coming out. And the reason I didn't is because I was thinking to myself, well, dang, okay, he really did put out this Compton album. So that means he's in the spirit of releasing music. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay. I'm thinking in my head, I'm thinking like, okay, Chronic 2001 came out and that kind of set up Eminem and that set up Snoop's run that he had with the Last Meal album and Exhibit with the Bitch Please record. You know what I'm saying? Like Dr. Dre's albums kind of always set up the other artists that were on the album, just like the Chronic set up Snoop's Doggy Style album. You know what I'm saying? The Chronic one set up for Snoop to come out, set up for the Dog Pound to come out. So I'm thinking like, okay, we really own that. Like, okay, I'm thinking Compton is setting up me, King Mez, Justice, all of these artists that were new, kind of like how Snoop was new on the Chronic and how Eminem was new on Chronic 2001. I'm thinking that. But so that's the reason I didn't leave. But I was thinking about leaving like right before that. But what made me stay was the fact that the album actually came out and I was on it. So I'm thinking like, okay, we're going to keep building on this momentum. So I'm going to just ride this thing out. But honestly, I was thinking about leaving in 2015, like before like Compton became like a real thing. I really was having conversations with my management at the time, like, man, like, I don't know. I don't know if this is the move. So
were you allowed to like release music at all, like mixtapes or anything during that time, or was you just
nope,
radio silence?
Radio silence. Literally, me and my management at the time got told these are quotes I'm about to give y'all. As far as like when people was trying to interview me at that time, the word was given to us was, why he gonna do interviews? He ain't got a project out. What the fuck he got to talk about right now? Then when it came to dropping mixtapes, it was, that's a waste of time. That's a waste of music. Why all your attention needs to be on your album. Anything else is a waste of time. When it came to, well, can I just drop an EP? Can I at least just keep my name out there? Can I just, no. Anything that would be good enough for you to release as an EP, you should just put out as an album. So no. And so now you thinking my management, they're trying to respect the situation that we in. You know what I'm saying? So they're not trying to step on toes, right? Right. I'm not trying to step on toes because I'm thinking to myself, you know what I'm saying? It's not Andre from down the street. This Dr. Dre, this NWA, this is Eminem, this is Snoop, this is all of these people. So you kind of feel like, you know, you think to yourself, I'm gonna run the play that the coach is calling because he's been coaching longer than I've been playing. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was like, okay, this is the process this is their process. I got their jersey on. I got an Aftermath jersey on now. So I have to subscribe to the system of the team that I play for. This isn't necessarily what I would do, but I have to believe that the payoff in the end is going to make sense, because if we playing for the same team, why would I be being told to do something that wouldn't be beneficial to the team, which would ultimately be beneficial to myself? So it was like, we listened, and in hindsight, we shouldn't have. You know what I'm saying? Because every story that you ever hear in the industry, like when I listen to stories about how Cameron, when he got to Rockefeller, how he went and just did Oh Boy and did it himself. Like he blew himself up. Like, yes, he was on Rockefeller, but it wasn't Rockefeller's decision to put out Oh Boy. And I think that because I think me and my team, I feel like it was always love and respect for Dre and Aftermath, but I think that love and respect kind of bit us in a way, because I think we were too cautious and we listened too much. We didn't follow our instincts enough. Like we leaned on, okay, we Aftermath guys now, so we're gonna do what we're being told to do. Okay.
So yeah, basically you hurt. You feel like you kind of hurt yourself being too much of a team player.
Yeah, like because for me, like I just the way I grew up, period, I'm a respectful dude. You know what I'm saying? So, and like I said, me and Dre had started to establish a relationship and a bond of trust. So I'm thinking if he's telling me to do something or to not do something, then he's thinking about the greater good of my career and my family. You feel me? That's what I'm thinking. Like, why? So I'm like, all right, You know what I'm saying? Like if you say, all right, cool, because in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, this all gonna pay off. Okay, all right, I'm gonna keep this shit don't make sense to me. But like I was there, and even my management at the time, they like, yo, the conversations we would have between the three of us, me and my two managers, like one of them is a cat named Kendall Young Sad Freeman. He used to work at Def Jam. He was a vice president of Maybach Music at one particular point in time. Just an industry mainstay. I love and respect Sav to this day. But I remember on the phone, he always used to be like, "Yo, Connor, this is not how it's done, B. Like, yo, like we gotta drop something, B. Like we gotta do something, B." And like I say, I take accountability because I can remember in them conversations, I'm like, Sav, I feel you. I'm like, we should. I'm like, but dude, keep saying no. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, no to everything. Even when Sav and Dre would get on the phone together, it would turn into arguments. You know what I'm saying? Because it would be Sav like coming from like the new way of doing things, constantly putting out music, staying in people's faces. And that's kind of like the new way of the music business. And I feel like, no disrespect to Dre, but I'm just keeping it real. I think he came in the game at a time where it was so different than the way things are now, where you could put out one single and then wait a couple months and then put out another single, then wait another couple months and then put out the album. We had started getting into the internet age of music at the time that I'm signing the Aftermath, where everything is about the blogs, everything is about the more transparent you are, the more people rock with you. And I feel like Dre became a star during the time period where the more reserved and the more unseen you were, the bigger the star you were. You know what I'm saying? And I just think that it was a conflict of philosophies as to how we should move forward, and it played out.
So at what point? Go ahead. You might be about to ask the same question I'm gonna ask.
Go ahead, G.
And so at what point, after like all of these different roadblocks, right? Because we talked about the time frame from 2013 to 2019. At what point does it become like, okay, like I'm not getting nowhere? You mentioned that in 2015, right? You stuck around. Obviously, Compton dropped. You're thinking like, I'm up next, like that kind of thing. But then there was still like from 2015 to 2019, so there's a 4-year period right there. So I'm just curious, like within that 4-year period, what was going on? It sounded like you was still working, but you also still had some faith too during this time.
Well, man, I remember getting a phone call and being told, I think it could have been from Dre's assistant, like, we're gonna do a video for One Shot, One Kill. You know what I'm saying? Snoop's in. Don't tell anybody, but we're gonna. So these type of little carrots being dangled in front of my face.
Right.
You feel me? Like anytime I would think that I'm upset and want to get the fuck out, like, you know what I'm saying? It would be a carrot dangled in my face. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, wait. We're gonna shoot the video for the love, not for the love of One Shot, One Kill. We're talking about it. So these little things is like, okay, all right. Let me calm down. Okay, this is what's up. Then I'm working on Vehicle City. I'm sending songs to Dre. We communicating back and forth about the records. I'm working with Scott Storch. I'm working with DJ Paul. I'm working with, you know what I'm saying? I remember I flew out and worked with, I ain't gonna say worked with because I don't want to gas the shit. I went to Just Blaze's house and he gave me a beat. So this was like, I'm going around trying to work on the album. You know what I'm saying? So after Compton came out, the carrots is getting dangled, and also it's seeming like from a label perspective, not just Aftermath, but Aftermath and Interscope were serious, because I was going up to Interscope too, like having meetings and conversations and talking to the product manager and the publicist and meeting the social team, the digital team, the radio team, this team, and everybody's, oh, we're so excited. Oh, we can't wait for your album. Oh my God, it's amazing. Oh my God, Dre's excited about it. Oh my God. So this is what's going on. So when people be like, sometimes when people talk about or have opinions or thoughts or whatever the fuck about like my journey, or it'd be funny to me because it's so much shit that people don't know and can't.
Yeah.
And so that's like I say, I love this. But yeah, so that's when you say like what happened in that 4-year time period. So after Compton, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, this is happening. Like I said, I'm talking with John Janik and Steve Berman. Them is like the big wigs at Interscope at the time. Like I said, I'm meeting all of the teams and everybody's giving me how excited they are. And I'm not going to say it like it was all fluff, because it was some good people at Interscope that really fucked with me and really wanted my project to come out. So anybody that I shook hands with and that I met at Interscope, I love y'all still, because like they were super genuine about wanting my shit to come out, and super genuine and excited about wanting to like be a part of this Jon Connor experience, man. So it was like, that's what was going on though in those 4 years. There's me having a whole bunch of meetings that led to other meetings that led to other meetings that led to other meetings, and then so and then a lot of promises that never came into fruition.
So no, quick follow up, right? Because that 2015 to 2019 period. Actually, I'm glad that you just explained that to me, because that's 4 years for us. You know, for us folks that went to college, that's a bachelor's degree, right?
Yeah.
The other couple of years that you mentioned, that's a master's degree. So you have a master's in the entertainment industry.
Sure do.
During that
sure
period
do.
from Aftermath University.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, because
Absolutely.
I think anyone that would ever have any questions on why you stayed there for so long, like, to me, you just explained it. Like, I heard a Snoop Dogg video that was in the works. I heard Scott Storch, DJ Paul, Just
Come on,
Blaze.
man.
Like,
it's not like, you feel me, Gary? It's not like I was just a duck. Like, I'm just sitting there like, like, no, I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what's so, like, I'm so happy we're doing this podcast, because like, how fucking dumb do people really think I'm stupid? Like, no, it's like there had to be something else happening for me to just stay. Like, it wasn't like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just crazy. But yeah, like, so like you said, if you're being a part of those things, you're seeing Dr. Dre every day and having the conversation about your album. Y'all are, we shot the video for the first single. Like, you know what I'm saying? We shot the video. Like, we shot it in Flint and we shot it in LA. So I'm thinking, is this Big Willie? It's going down. When people talk, why did you stay? We shot the video. The cover art is done. Like, one day I'm gonna post the cover art. I got the cover art from Vehicle City somewhere. We shot the video. I did the photo shoot for the cover. The album's mixed and mastered. Like, you feel me? I'm going to Interscope. So now I'm not just talking to Dre. I'm talking to the distribution company, and we're having a relationship. We're talking. We're having meetings. We're having legit meetings where it's like, a damn, what do you call it? The projector board, where you like, first this is gonna happen, then this is gonna happen, then week 3 this is gonna happen, then this is gonna happen. That's how intricate this was. I am a fucking Aries, man. If I see that somebody on some bullshit, I'm quick to leave. So for me, it's not even in my nature to stay in a situation where I feel like uncomfortable or I feel like something's not going to happen. So people have to understand, for me to stay somewhere for 7 years, there had to be things being said and done to make me feel like, oh, okay, this makes sense, you know?
So they were planning, like, at what point is the first version, the first master of Vehicle City completed, and at what point are they actually meeting with you to discuss the whole rollout of the album? Like, what point is this in terms of like what year?
I still got the master, and I gave one to my mom and I gave one to my dad, and the date is on the master of exactly when it is. But since right now I ain't got it with me, I think I want to say December of 2016, maybe the first master of the of Vehicle City happening. Don't quote me, because in later episodes after I see the actual date again, I'll go back and correct myself. But I feel like it was December 2016.
Okay, so at that point, you felt like the album is done, and now they're talking about the rollout, you and Interscope and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, but then there are sub conversations also happening at this time between my management and Dre directly, and they're disagreeing on a lot of stuff. So now it's becoming, no matter what I'm hearing from Interscope, if they conversation, my management and Dre don't go good, nothing matters that I just did when I go kick it at Interscope. But you asked the question, Jay.
No, I was so basically, Dr. Dre, he presses the button, and until that happens, nothing else, it doesn't really matter who else is talking about what.
Yeah, to my understanding. And at the time too, I got to throw this in there. So I was the last artist that got signed to Aftermath Interscope Records. So that means I was signed to Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine. I think I was the last, because I remember when I first got there, I remember Exhibit kept saying that. He kept saying, "Yo, you're the last artist that Dre and Jimmy signed." And I'm like, oh, that's crazy. Like, that's dope. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's really dope. So the thing is, I would say, I probably can count on both hands how many conversations I had with Jimmy Iovine. So me and him weren't as close, but I'm pretty sure he had equal of amount of say about my project as Dr. Dre did.
Okay. But you didn't have as good an idea where Jimmy was with it.
Right. No. I would see Jimmy randomly, like at parties and shit. And I remember we went out to eat one time. That's a whole nother. But I would see Jimmy in like random situations, like, you know what I'm saying? And it was always a good conversation. I remember we sat down and ate. We was in New York. It was me, Jimmy, Dre, and his wife at the time, Nicole, and Mary J. Blige and her husband at the time. And I just remember Jimmy looked at me and said, so he was like, "So John, where's the fucking album?" And then my response, because this is after the freshman cover, right? Like a little fucking kid, my response was, I said, "Ask your mans." I pointed at Dre. I said, "Dre, like, you go, what's up?" And then it was funny because then Jimmy was like, "Well, Dre, where's the fucking album?" And then Dre, like, we get into it. So it was just a funny little moment. But I always respected the fuck out of Jimmy Iovine because he was always super direct. And I would like to say, knock on wood, in our interactions, if he even fucking remembers who I am at this point, because he didn't have like helly artists like in his life. But I would like to think that what Jimmy Iovine respected about me is that I wasn't intimidated by him or Dre, and that no matter what my personality is, it was going to be that no matter who was talking to me. Like another artist, if they said, "John, where's the fucking album?" It's like, not me, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just answer truthfully and, well, ask your man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's up with the album? Right. But yeah.
Okay, so is the only reason that it was never released is because you left, or do you think that's the reason why it wasn't? Like, think if you would have stayed a little bit longer, would it actually have been released?
Well, no, it didn't come out. Because this is crazy, because y'all taking me through so many different times, fans, and it's crazy to recall all of this stuff because I haven't talked about it in a long time. And like I say, all of this is water under the bridge. So anybody who was involved or was there for any of this, man, it's all I love y'all. It's water under the bridge. This shit is 4 years old at this point. But you said, do I think if I would have stayed longer would the album have came out? And did the album not come out because I left, right?
That's because when you're describing everything as far as like all of the work that was put into it, like it got along pretty far. Like if you shoot music videos and it sounded like there was a timeline for like a rollout, I guess I'm wondering at what point did it just break down and it was just like, you know, did someone come to you and be like, you know what, we scrapping it, we ain't doing nothing, regardless of everything that we already did? Because folks put a lot of time, energy, like schedules, you know what I'm saying? Because when you working, this is my understanding, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. Like when a label focuses on a project, there's other projects that they have to put to the side and say, like, we're focusing on like Vehicle City right now and pushing this forward. And it sounded like that's what was happening. But I'm wondering, like, what happened first? Did somebody come to you and be like, we about to put a pause on this, we putting it on the back burner? Or did you say, you know what, like, ain't nothing happening? Or because it didn't sound like that. It didn't sound like nothing wasn't happening. It sounded like stuff was moving. So I guess I'm stuck in 2019 right now. Like in 2019, what are you thinking at that point in time where it's like, I'm about to get out of here?
So yeah, so it's a lot of different questions within the question that you asked. So I'll start with, did the album not come out because I left Aftermath, right? Mm-hmm. Absolutely not. And there was never a conversation where somebody told me the album was scrapped. So this was, okay, I'm gonna put people on game on something else. So Interscope is a division of Universal Music Group, right? So Interscope is not its own building. It's a floor within a building, right? So Interscope, I think Def Jam, Island Def Jam, A&M, and Geffen is all in the same building, right? So when me and Dre decided we wasn't gonna work no more, right? Like, and that the album was done, Universal Music Group still wanted that album to come out. So when people say like shelved or scrapped, that's not my situation. I don't know what it's like. I don't know what shelved mean, because when I left Aftermath, I was still on the phone with the executives at Universal Music Group talking about how to release Vehicle City. So it was like at that point, like they were wanting to still put out Vehicle City, but they wanted to put it out on Empire, which is a subsidiary label of Universal as well. So it's like under Interscope. So it's like Universal, then Interscope, and then under that you got Empire. You know what I'm saying? So at the time when me and Dre had parted ways, I was still having conversations, me, my management, and executives at Universal, about how to put Vehicle City out on Empire. So to answer your question, nah, that's not the reason it didn't come out. It's because I left, because it was still supposed to come out even after I left.
So I guess the obvious question after that is why didn't it come out?
All right. So here we go. The reason why, from my perspective, it ain't even from my perspective, it's the truth. It's what happened. So you got to think, I was on Aftermath for 7 years. Whole lot of promises that never came true. Things happening that I didn't understand. It was opportunities for me to get money while I was there that were being stopped by Aftermath, and I didn't understand that. It was a lot of people also don't understand the environment. I'm from Flint, Michigan. I'm in California. Like I said, I'm playing an away game. I don't have no friends out there. Nobody's looking out for the best interest of Jon Connor. One of my managers at the time, this is when Maybach music is like the biggest thing in the world. So one of my managers, he's flying around with Maybach music, but also trying to fly back and forth to do what he got to do with me. And my other manager at the time ran into some unfortunate situations that prevented him from being out there. So I'm by myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm completely alone. I'm at the mercy of, because also too, what I want people to understand is that when you first get in the game, there's the way you think it is. And then over time, you start to get introduced to the reality of what it actually is. So I was having to go through this changing of understanding all by myself. Like I said, it wasn't nobody out there with me. like that was going through everything that I was going through and seeing what I was seeing, hearing what I was hearing. So for me, it's starting to become, I'm getting fed up. It's starting to become the Flint water crisis is happening, and I got this record deal, and everybody talking about me like I'm something special, but my mama's still in the hood, and she's having to take showers in poison water. So I'm starting to have perspective like that. Like, fuck a record deal if I can't help my mama. Like, fuck being around all these people if I can't help my mama, if I can't do nothing for my aunties. It's like, I don't give a fuck about taking pictures with nobody. I don't care about none of these parties. I don't give a fuck about all the, at this time, like I say, because they trying to keep me calm. So this is when they giving me, oh, Jan likes wrestling. Here, you want the box? SummerSlam's going to be at Staples Center. This is every time I'm starting to get to the point of like, hey, is my album coming out for real? It's starting to be more of that type of shit. Hey, we got you some tickets to the Laker game. They're floor seats. Hey, we got, and it's starting for me, it's starting to be like, man, fuck these seats, man. Fuck, like, fuck all of this. You know what I'm saying? Is what's happening inside of me at that point. So by the time we get to me leaving Aftermath, and I could tell y'all that too, but I have to wait for y'all to ask me the right question. But going back into how this happened, like, or why didn't it come out, was because I was so tired of getting played with at this point and being on the phone. This shit felt like a divorce, like going through being on the phone. Now as where, at least when I was on Aftermath, like me and Dre, we would have fun and all that type of shit. Now it's turning into just straight no fun, all business. Not with me and him. I'm talking about, because at that point, me and him, we spoke, but like I was doing more speaking to lawyers, executives, conference calls. So John, what do you want to do? So John, should we do this? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? And my answer was, I can remember clear as day. My answer kept being to these executives on the phone, I want to do whatever y'all want me to do so I can get out of this contract. What do y'all want me to do? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because at that point, I'm drained. What y'all want me to do? Because y'all keep playing with me. I keep getting told videos is coming out. They don't. I keep getting told that the release date is going to be this. I keep having conversations with my mom and my dad. Hey, y'all, my album coming out on this date. And then it don't. I got to hear disappointment in their voice. I got to hear disappointment in my little nieces and nephews. Uncle Deucey, I thought your album was coming out. Fuck the people on the internet. What was killing me was that I kept having to disappoint the people I love. And it's like, nah, I'd rather go back to being independent, because at least I can control my destiny. At least if I tell my little niece or my little nephew something, it's going to happen. As far as, like, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to me and Uncle Deucey and music and all of that type of stuff. It's like, so by that time that we get to that point, when they're like, so John, so we're going to put the album out. We want to put it out on Empire. And I'm like, and my answer to everything is just, okay, cool. All right, cool. So, John, do you have a preference on? Nope. Whatever y'all want to do. You know what I'm saying? Whatever y'all want to do. So would you like to shoot a video? Cool. Let's do it. Whatever y'all want to do. I'm coming from a place of let's just get this shit over with, because I'm tired. Like, you know what I'm saying? I want to put this shit out, and it's going to do whatever it's going to do. If it flop, cool, I'll deal with that. If it do great, cool, I'll deal with that. But as far as all of this games and which label do you want it to come out on, and which, it's like, yo, I'm drained at this point. So what ends up happening was, like, there would be conversations where, like, Dre's assistant would, like, hit me, and she would say stuff to me like, well, Dre wants to know why you guys haven't talked and blah, blah, blah. And at this time, like I say, I'm speaking on things in context of at the time that it happened. Like I say, right now, I'm good. This is all good. It's all love. You know what I'm saying? But at the time, this is the way that I felt. Like, it was conversations where, okay, Dre want to know why y'all haven't talked about this and talked about that. Now, at this particular point in time, I had already left California. So for me, it was just like, what else is it for us to talk about? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I done got played with for 7 years. Now I'm going through all of this crap. And it's like, I felt like I was a very humble, loyal dude. So I felt like at the time, it's like, I didn't do nothing to quote unquote deserve this. But now I just understand that that's how the music industry is. You don't have to do nothing to deserve something. It's just set up a certain way. And if you're not prepared for it, then, you know, that's kind of what's going to happen to you. So got long-winded. So the reason why it didn't come out. So, okay. I ended up having a conversation with Dre, and if he don't remember this, God bless his soul. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't make up nothing on another man. So if you ever see this, bruh, this is what happened. It's all love. We talked after this, but this is what happened. We was on the phone, and he was like, "Yo, John, you worked hard than a motherfucker on that album. You could have the album. You could do whatever you want to do with it." And I said, "For real?" And he was like, "Whatever you want to do." I said, "Dog, thank you. Thank you, man." He was like, "Yeah, you worked your ass off on that album." I call my manager, my lawyer, and I said, "Joe, Dre just said I could have Vehicle City." He said, "Like, have? Like, just have it." I said, "That's what he just said." He was like, "Word?" And I'm like, "Word." Like, none of the Empire shit, none of the nothing. Whatever I want to do, I could have it. And he was like, "Okay, bet." He said, "I'm going to call the lawyer and I'm going to tell him." My manager calls my lawyer. My lawyer calls us back the next day and he was like, "Yeah, I just got off the phone with Dre's lawyer." And he said, Dre said he never said that. And that was when I said, "Hey, fuck all this. I'm out." I said, I'm done. I'm not playing these games. I'm not about to sit up here and waste more years of my life. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because obviously at this point, I feel like, well, this is, I don't know why, these things are being said. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I ain't tripping. I'm just telling you the truth as it happened. From my perspective, these are things that I remember like they were yesterday. Like I say, if Dre don't remember it, I can understand that. He making $1 billion deals every day. So what happened to Jon Connor's Vehicle City, like, it's probably not the top on his priority list. But for me, that was a situation that changed and altered my life. So I can remember these things as if they happened yesterday.
Yeah.
Wow.
Damn, listen, you actually answered my next question, because I was thinking about what happened with all that material. Like, so it's basically it's the property of Aftermath.
Yes, and that's fine with me. I remember saying that, like, because when I had to sign my release, it said all of this legal jargon about how they can use your voice or take your voice off, and they own this and they own that. That's fine with me, because I understood, at least I did understand that. Like, I signed a contract to do business with these people, and while I'm signed to them, they're in the business of selling music. So as a creator, everything that I made from that time period to the time period that I left, I totally understood why they own that, and I don't have a problem with that. That's why when people ask me about Vehicle City, it's like, yo, Dre and Jimmy and Interscope and Aftermath own that music, as they should, because that's what that's what we all signed a contract to say, that they owned that music. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have no problem with that. But yeah, all that music is on a hard drive somewhere in California.
So I have to ask, right? And I don't want like an actual number or figure to this question, but in just thinking about some of these contracts and some of the deals that I've just been familiar with, just from being like a student of hip hop, reading, interviews, articles, listening to, people talk on podcasts and etc. Like, I've heard of people buying their projects from a label. Is that a realistic scenario for you? Could you buy your album from Aftermath?
I've thought about that. I would want to. I think, how, like, I be watching, like, how Dame Dash and Jay-Z and Biggs, how strongly they feel about Reasonable Doubt. Like, you know what I'm saying? And of all of the albums that Jay-Z never did, like, they have this feeling and they feel strongly about Reasonable Doubt because of what it represents to them. It's like, I would say, yeah, like, that was 7 years of my life that I put into that album. So yes, I would love to own it one day. Like, and I've thought about that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Stacking my bread, getting my money right to make sure I could buy Vehicle City one day. Because yes, that was, like you said, man, that's 7 years, bro. That's like, dog, that's college. Like, that's two, you know what I'm saying? Like, dog, that was a chunk of my life. So to not be able to ever share it with people, or to act like to have a 7-year period of your life that you kind of have to act like doesn't exist it's weird. So I would love to own Vehicle City one day. And if I did, I would put it out. I would just put it out so people can hear it.
Yeah, that's dope. It remind me of the MC Breeze song, 7 years of bush.
Right.
I don't know if y'all familiar with that song, but
yeah.
Mm-hmm. But man. So at that point, does that mean after that conversation, and that doesn't go well, and Dre's lawyer does not confirm that he's gonna let you have it. Is that the end of both your contract with Aftermath, and is that also the end of any opportunity for the album to come out?
Well, for me, it was. So to answer your first question, if the album would have came out on Empire, I still would have been subjected to the terms of the contract I signed with Interscope Aftermath, because it's all really under Universal. So that contract would have just been, it would have been the same contract. You understand? Like, if it came out on Empire, it'd just been a different logo on the CD, but the same people, like Dre would have still got paid, Jimmy would have still got paid. Like, you know what I'm saying? All of these, like whatever I initially signed, if I would have went through with the album coming out on Empire, it would have still been in alignment with the original contract. So the thing is, like, so it wasn't just over, you know what I'm saying? It was over, yes, after the conversation, and then my perspective changed, and then I started just saying, just get me out of this. Like, my conversations with my management and my lawyer went from, okay, I'll do whatever they want me to do, to after that conversation happened, I just want to get out. Like, I just want to be free. Like, that's what I kept saying to everybody. I might have actually probably snapped. Like, I think that might be like, because that's literally the only words that was coming out of my mouth at that time. I just want to be free. I just want to be free. I just want to be free. I just want that. Like, when it was practice, man. Practice. We talking about practice. Like, that was how I was talking to them after that conversation. I was so all the wind was let out of my sails at that point, from everything that had happened to lead to the fact that we even at that point, like, you know what I'm saying? And then for that to happen, it was just like, just get me out of this. Like, I just want to sign something that say I don't owe nobody nothing, that I can go free, that I can do my music again. They can keep everything I ever did at Aftermath. I don't care. I'll start all the way over. I don't give a fuck. They can have everything. Just put something in writing that says I'm free, and I can just go back to making music the way I was making music before any of this shit ever happened.
Okay, so you signed that document in 2019. The one
Yes.
that basically like gave you your freedom. Got you. Okay. So
Yes.
that's why
Look at that, Gary. Think of how fucked up the music industry is. You just said to another black man in 2025, you signed the papers that gave you your freedom. And that's exactly what it is, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's exactly what it is. And that's what I figured out, like, while I was there. And I'm sure, like I say, in later episodes, we'll do deep dives on things. But just in 2025, the fact that black men are having a conversation, and you said, and that's when you signed the papers that gave you your freedom. Bruh, I lived it, bro. I had never been so happy to be free in my life, dog. Like, when I finally, like, when Dre sent over the papers and it said Andre Young at the bottom, and all I had to do on DocuSign was sign Jan Freeman, dog. The trees was greener, the fucking sky was bluer. Like, man, I'm talking about, bro. I wanted to skip up and down the street. I said, man, I feel like the only thing that I could compare it to is when like maybe a couple get a divorce from like a toxic marriage, like, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what it felt like. It just was so many mind games, so many money games, so many manipulation games. It was so much cattiness going on. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was then on top of just real life happening, you know, we are from the hood, like, you know what I'm saying? When you got cousins that's in and out of jail, when you got this one, your friend over here needs some money, this one over here having a nervous breakdown, it's like, it was entirely too much. So by the end of it, I was just like, yeah, just let me be free. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it went down. Like, I totally, and everybody was, so you don't want it to come out on Empire? No, I just want to be free. So you mean to tell me you want to just walk away? Yes. So you don't want anything? No. You don't want us to put in the contract that you get something? No. I just want I want my money that I earned, but I don't want nothing extra. Like, you know what I'm saying? I just want my freedom. And that's what it came to.
I mean, if anybody can understand that, you would think it would be Dr. Dre, because isn't that what he did with Ruthless Records?
Indeed.
Death Row 2.
Or Death Row. Yeah, he did it twice.
Death Row 2.
Went going from Ruthless to Death Row, and then from Death Row to Aftermath.
Right. He left there with nothing and started over. And
one could have that perspective.
Wow,
that's some shady. That's a shady answer. That I feel like it's something else that's there. But let me ask this question.
Well, no. When with that answer, one would have, like I'm saying, y'all not. That's a perspective.
I know what Drake
because I have to be careful because, like I say, we live in a day and age where people are fucking weirdos. It's like, the thing is, it's like I've had time to have peace about everything, so it's like I'm not tripping. Like I have, like I say, it's been 2019, 20, 22, 3, 4, 5. How many years is that? 5, 6 years or whatever?
2025. So we about 6 years out.
Okay, so we're going on 6 years. So it's like I've had time, whatever anger or mad or whatever I would have had, like I didn't grew past it. But we in a day and age where people, the motherfucking the comment warriors, this nigga still Saudi, this nigga still no, bro. I like what I'm saying. So when I answer the question like that, it's like, yeah, you would be right in saying that perspective of like you would think, like, you know what I'm saying, that he could see himself in that situation, but you know, who knows.
And Jay and G asked all the great questions that I was thinking about. You know, we've been doing this, we've been friends for so long. They just, you know, we all just like think about the same thing at the same time. So now that you are quote unquote free and you're independent now, so and we'll get more into as in future podcasts and future episodes, but now what is the future for Jon Connor now that he's independent? Jon Counterculture podcast, Counterculture website, like now what is the future?
Man, the future is I would like to be the opposite of everything that my experience was when I was on Interscope Aftermath. Like I say, no disrespect to the people there, but I just think the music business, it don't matter what label it is, Def Jam, Interscope, whoever, like, you know what I'm saying? I just feel like the structure of major labels, period, they are not set up to benefit the artists. I think so. For me with Counterculture, I want to show artists that, for one, you don't need to lean on like a major label system. If you believe in yourself and your goal is to just spread your music, spread your art, and you're doing it for the craft and you want to pay the bills, you know what I'm saying, and get money, there's a way to do it. And I want to do it with honor and integrity. Like, that's what Counterculture is to me. Like, when a young artist come up to me, I don't want to, the statement I was about to say was going to be crazy, but I want to be an example of everything that's right with chasing your dreams with music. I don't want to pass down to another generation a bunch of fucking war stories and because all of us got them. Like I say, if you watch any rapper do like a podcast or talk on Vlad TV or Art of Dialogue, it's always these type of stories. I just seen my man from like Day 26 and the whole Day 26, they all broke down and cried. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because people don't understand how fucking treacherous the music business really is. Not even just the music business. Maybe it's just business, period. Maybe it's just all of show business. But it's like, I don't want to be that. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what I got out of it. I think sometimes, like, with the music business, it's like vampires. You bite somebody on the neck, so now they can have the same fucking hell that you live in. Now they can't go out in the sun. And I think the music business is like that. Everybody that's in it, they don't want you to have that optimism. They don't want you to stay positive. They want you to be fucking bitter and spiteful and manipulative, just like they are. And it's like when they see people come in the door that are happy and got a light about them, it's like, nah, my light got took from me. I'm gonna take yours from you. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, I don't want to be that. I want to be able to teach young artists the business of the music business without them having to compromise their soul or their integrity. I want to just give game away for free. Like, you know what I'm saying? Counterculture is more than just about the music. It's about us doing stuff like this to where truth, unfiltered truth can just be out there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is my way of giving back to like young artists by doing counterculture as a whole, the podcast, the music, and all of that. It's like I don't want the next, because I started doing music, man, when I was 11 years old. I don't want that next kid that was 11 years old and had a dream on their mama porch to go through the things that I had to go through, because I understand, and I'm not saying like I'm just the strongest motherfucker in the world, but I think that it does take a amount of strength and mental discipline to not let a scenario like what happened to me at Aftermath totally make you just bitter at the world. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or just bitter about music, or just spiteful and hateful. And I don't want that. So with counterculture, it's like, whether it's through the music, whether it's through this podcast, whether it's through anything else that gets put, the documentaries I'm about to do, it's all going to be so that the next generation doesn't have to endure like some of the shit that me and a lot of other artists went through. And if they do, at least they'll be equipped, because for me, I was totally not equipped for everything that was to come. I just was very good at making adjustments on the fly. So I just want to put at least some information out there and be able to put content out there where it'll catch the ear of some young artists and they'll know what they're getting into if they still want to go to the major labels.
Word.
Man, I think you just laid out the mission statement right there for counterculture, man. Like, yeah, no, I know. Just as a fan, right? Just as a Connor fan, that period of time just seemed like it's just like we was watching a pump fake like the entire time. It's like, is he gonna shoot? Is he gonna shoot? Like, what's going on? Because there's some other periods in this time too, and you sort of talked about some of them, where it was like the double XL cover, I think, right? The infamous double XL cover happened during this time. I think the BT freestyle. I think that's when
that's when I announced it.
Yeah, the announcement. And I actually remembered this. Like, like how people remember where they was at when like Tupac died and all this. Like, I remember actually like we was at this event. I think it was at the U of M Flint. But I remember we was at an event. And they was showing like the BET hip hop awards, right? Because folks in Flint knew, it was like, yeah, Connor's supposed to be on the awards. I was like, all right, we go check it out.
Yeah.
And then, had the Flint shirt on, like with the leather jacket and everything. It's like, yeah, that boy always representing. And then
come on now.
Then the bar about y'all know I've always been ill, but now my doctor is Dre. Niggas was like, hey, what'd he say? Hey, did he just say his doctor is Dre? And then it was like the chatter. So it was like, man, folks at the crib, like, I don't know how. I know you had a lot that was going on during that time, so I don't know if you was, still talking to people at the crib. But man, I just remember Cass was just like waiting and then waiting and waiting. And I'm saying all this just to say, man, like, I think a lot of us, right, that's just been a part of your career throughout the years, was just happy to see like you back in business now, right? Because
thank you.
You are like such a prolific, artist, right? And I don't think how much people know in terms of like, a lot of people might just know you from rap, but I mean, you rap, right? You produce records, like some of the visual, like content, that we see. Like, there's many different ways that you can create. So it really doesn't make any sense for you to ever be in a situation where you're not able to create and then obviously release those, those projects. So before, we get up out of here, is there anything else in that time frame, right? Just general question, 2013 to 2019 that you remember that maybe we should, mention here on the Counterculture podcast?
I think anything else that I would say is probably it's probably like we can milk it, but we can get other episodes out of some of the stuff, what I'm saying, that I would probably say. But I would like to end this episode off like this. Because like I say, I just really the time period that we live in, what I'm saying, people are just weirdos. So to bring it all full circle, me and Dre talked after all of that, like after all of the lawyers, after all of the back and forths, and after all of the like just hostility, you know what I'm saying? And just the you know, just those less than positive feelings, you know what I'm saying, at that time. And I remember we talked, and there were two significant conversations that we had. One was he called me after everything was all over with, and he sent me a bunch of records because he was working. But before he sent me those records, he called me and said, he was like, yeah, I just want you to know, nigga, like, you still my little brother no matter what. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, no matter what the bullshit was, like, you know what I'm saying? You still my little brother, right? And then I said to him, I said, Dre, I said, bro, I love you. I said, the thing is with me, dog, I said, if I tell somebody I love them once, I mean it forever. No matter how somebody treat me, if whatever they do, like I said, and I'm not talking about him, and now I'm speaking in general, right? If someone else's love for me wasn't authentic, that doesn't mean mine wasn't. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, I mean it every time I say it. So I told him, I said, bro, I love you, dog. I said, all is good. All is forgiven. You know what I'm saying? And the other conversation we had was, it was right before he had it was right before he had the brain aneurysm. And we had a conversation. And I'll tell y'all a quick story about that, because it's all encompassing in this particular episode. Because the type of person I am, I like for things to leave off on a positive note. I don't want people to leave watching this episode, fuck this one, fuck that one, man. You ain't got to be mad for me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if I found a way to have peace about the situation, I sincerely hope other people do too. And two, I'm going to make sure I remember what I was going to say. But also, just wanted to point out, because you mentioned how you felt when you saw me at the BET Awards. I want people to understand too, especially people from Flint, that project not coming out, almost like, because like you just said, you it was a moment. Like, you remembered like where you was when Tupac passed, and for being from Flint, right? Dog, the way I looked at that was like, the world don't smile on Flint often. You know what I'm saying? Especially at that time. I love the new generation of Flint artists and what they doing, but at the time that I was doing it, it was Dayton Family, Breed, Top Authority, right? And then it was a big gap of time, and then I came along, right? And in that meantime, like I say, the Flint water thing was happening. Every time I would come back to Flint and visit the crib, it seemed like more shit was boarded up, more stuff was torn down. Dog, it was times, I'm keeping it so real. It's a Counterculture podcast, so I'm gonna be super honest, dog. It would be times I would ride around my old neighborhood, dog, and just cry. Because I remember what it used to look like when I was a kid. And then I would see like the new kids, the little 17-year-old girl who walking her two kids and got one in her arm. In the backdrop is abandoned fucking houses, abandoned schools. For me, Vehicle City was not just a fucking album. It was going to, for me, it was going to be hope in a positive direction for them kids that's growing up in Flint. You feel me? It was like, if he can come from here, then we can do it. That's what I felt like they took from me. They took that moment, and that's what I was more pissed off about than anything, because it's like, Jan Freeman gonna be okay, dog. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I felt like the heart of the city needed that at that time, because everything was just coming down on us. You know what I'm saying? And I was doing everything I could with going on the nightly show with Keke Palmer and trying to bring awareness to the crib and everything. But it was so many shackles on me of what I couldn't do and couldn't this and couldn't that. And that was the thing that hurt me the most, is that I knew and I felt it, because, dog, I'm from the crib. So it's like, when y'all say y'all was waiting for it, I knew the way it was going to feel for Flint to have something like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? This city where General Motors then left, where the government don't give a fuck, and it's 10 years later and they still talking about the water and giving people money, and kids then died from getting poisoned from the water and all of that. And this poverty just hitting us so hard. It was like, for me, it was more than just a rap album. It was, I'm about to inject hope back into my city. I'm about to be able to use this celebrity to go back to these schools and talk to these kids. I'm about to be able to use, I'll be with Dr. Dre, but anyway, what you want to do, kid? You can do it too. Like, you know what I'm saying? I used to go to school right down the street. I was ready to do all of that. And when that didn't happen, I think that is what pissed me off the most about that. So just wanting to respond to Gary, what you had said about the way it felt at the crib, because like I say, I was in California and I wasn't around people from the crib. I would fly people out periodically from the crib to come kick it from time to time because I needed that home feeling. But as far as like I was like I said, I was playing an away game. Did nobody out in California give a fuck about Flint? Did nobody give a fuck about what we was going through? Nobody cared about none of that. And I was out there fighting, like, you know what I'm saying? Literally fighting. Times I wanted to fucking yoke up A&Rs and be like, dog, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because they did not understand what I was fighting for. So that's how I felt on that. But like I say, to end it off on a positive, the other conversation that me and Dre had around the time that he had the brain aneurysm was, man, this is real life. And I'm putting it out there in the world because I'm a firm believer in God. I'm a very spiritual cat. So it was crazy. Something in my spirit said, call Dre. And when things like that happen to me, I prayed and I'm like, God, is you telling me to do that? Because really, I don't got really nothing to say to dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? So then 3 days later, the same like inkling, it was like, call Dre. So I'm one of these people where it's like, if my spirit tell me to do something, I'm gonna be obedient. So I called Dre and we talked. We got on the phone and I didn't know what I was supposed to say. I just know that I'm being called to do something. So I called him and the words that came out of my mouth, I said, Dre, I said, bro, no matter what we went through, no matter what happened, I said, bro, it's things that you taught me, like while I was out there, that I will like walk away with for the rest of my life. I'm like, things not even just in the studio, but just as a man, like that you taught me, like while I was there. I said, so regardless of any and everything, I said, bro, I'm gonna always have love for you, dog. I'm like, it's love for life. I'm like, for real, love you, dog. And then he said, oh, nigga, I love you too, nigga, man. You already know what the fuck it is, nigga. Like, next time you come to California, nigga, you know we gotta crank some shit out. You know what I'm saying? And I said, yeah, I appreciate that. So it was like all's well that ends well. And at the end of all of that, because people have never heard me speak about this shit out loud. So, or in this type of forum, you know what I'm saying? So that was it. That was the last conversation I had with Dre, where it was, and then, but what make that story crazy is after we had a I love you conversation, right? Blah, blah, blah. When next time you in California, come kick it, blah, 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 blah. 3 days later, my mom hits my phone and she like, hey, your boy in the hospital. And I said, who? She was like, Dre. And at that moment, I said, wow, that was God. God had me call him because God is like, now imagine if he died and I didn't make that phone call. You feel me? God is very specific. God, it was, I asked twice. First time it was call Dre. And I'm like, what? Why? And then it happened again a couple days later. 3 days after me and him talked on the phone, he ended up in the hospital with the brain aneurysm. And I misspoke. We talked again when he was in the hospital because I was like shocked. I'm like, dog, I just fucking talked to you. I'm like, how the fuck? And I could hear like the doop, doop, doop shit in the background. And we had another conversation as he was in the hospital. So it was like we did talk after all of that. And like for me, man, my spirit is one of love and forgiving. And like I say, no one man, this is what I want to tell the people that are fans of mine and have followed my journey. No one man on this earth controls my destiny. God do. So if that was what was supposed to happen, that was supposed to happen. I ain't there yet. I'm still here. So the story on Jon Connor is still being written every single day. So for me, that's how I look at it. And that's how I want my fans and supporters to look at it. Like Aftermath was cool, but it was like going to college. Okay, I graduated from college. Now we gonna keep on pushing. So all's well that ends well. Me and Dre talked after all of that. And so and then that's that. Like God is still writing the story on Jon Connor is the way I looked at it when I left Aftermath. Like, okay, that was a chapter of my life. Now let's start this next chapter and see what good deeds God gonna do for the kid this time around.
Dope, man. That's dope.
Love it, man. Love it. Yeah. Also, too, I don't know if anybody ever told you, Jan, like you need to do voiceovers. Like, he's like, call your
Hey,
manager, man.
I talked about that before. I've thought about it, man.
You need to, man, because every time you go into somebody else's voice, it sounds like them, like that Dre and that Jimmy Iovine, even the beeps from like the hospital machine, like it sounds exactly like those beeps.
Yeah, man. It's all tones, man. Just being a producer for so long, you just start understanding like the tones and inflections in people's voices. And like I say, when I tell stories, I'll be reliving the actual moment. So it's like, I don't know, I'm just back in that moment when I'm telling a story. I can't even control it, man. People be thinking I'm trying to be funny. I'm not.
No, I see it. You even relive the emotions in some ways. So
yeah,
I mean, yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. But yeah, yes, I think so do you feel like we wrapped up the what happened to Vehicle
City
we did.
Episode? I think we did. We hit on all of the topics. How did it get started? When did it start going sour? My perspective. Did the album get shelved? We answered that. No. Like we have the definitive answer out there in the world. No, it didn't get shelved. And why didn't it ever come out? We got the answer to that. So now this is the first long form forum that I've ever told that out loud. There's a lot of things in this episode I have never said out loud because for one, I don't really trust people, you know what I'm saying? And I have to question why people are asking me certain questions sometimes because it's like they'll want to make it Jon Connor disses Dr. Dre. Like they just look at, you feel me? They like just looking for a reason to put Dre's name in some headline in a negative way. Or, you know what I'm saying? Or so because they feel like I should be mad. They feel like if it was me, I'd be pissed the fuck off. Well, I'm not you. So don't put a headline next to my name with emotions that I don't feel. Like, am I mad? No, I'm at peace. Like, you know what I'm saying? With the whole shit. So it's like, this is the first time because now it's a platform where I'm with people that I'm comfortable with. I know that nothing's gonna get misconstrued and all of that type of shit. So it's like it feels really cool to be able to comfortably talk about that time period of my life, knowing that it's not gonna get manipulated or used for anything, negative.
Well, man, I'm glad you had a chance to let the people know what was going on with the album. You know what I'm saying? Let it be forever said. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
That's what it is. Right from the words of Jon Connor. You got it from him, right?
Yes.
I think the internet folks, though, there'll still be somebody that'll find these episodes and chop them up how they want to say what they want to. But know that there's always a place where you can see the full, conversation absolutely. As it happens. So yeah, that's what's up.
Right, no doubt.
Absolutely. Yes, indeed.
All right.
So there it is. Episode 2 is in the can.
Episode 2.
Episode 2 is in the can, man. Thank you to everybody that's watching. I hope y'all were thoroughly entertained and informed. Yes, indeed. So see y'all on episode 3.
Dope. Peace.
Peace.